So in my post today, I shared a little bit about learning to stay with and breathe into our discomfort. And the reason why I think this is so important is because there are a great many impulses that can arise within us or externally that are propelling us towards the end result sooner. Whether that's to achieve the thing that we want to achieve or to let go of the thing that we want to release, there's so much happening that's pushing us forward into that moment. We want it done already. We want to be there. We already want to have that experience. And what I'm saying is a little counterintuitive compared to that impulse. What I'm saying is the more we can sit with the discomfort, the more we can stay with the unknown, the in-between, that gray space where it hasn't quite yet taken form, the more we're able to consciously choose, the more we're able to consciously see the limits that we're actually coming up against, and the more that we're able to consciously choose how to move past them and how to create more spaciousness around them. So I gave the example of flexibility because I was talking about my own healing process that I was moving through in 2018, and I stopped practicing so hardcore for a while, my flexibility training. In flexibility, I'll go with that example. So when you train your body to move into a posture that it is not normally used to taking, there is a natural resistance that comes up. There is a very normal human discomfort that comes from trying to expand your range of motion. And the key thing that I want to point out is that we can stay in that space of resistance. You don't have to back off immediately. When you're trying to train your body to do something that it's not used to doing, of course it's going to have a reaction. It's going to say, pull back, don't do that. There might be muscle limitations. There might be embodied fear. There might be mental, emotional reasons why you're actually moving away from that edge. And I'm not advocating for barreling through at all. I'm saying go find that edge and then come back the 10%, 15% and stay there and breathe. Because in flexibility, when you do that, that's how so if your default range of motion is here and you hang out somewhere in the middle, when you train flexibility, you're actually inviting yourself to hang out more here so that this edge grows. Do you see what I mean? It's like you're trying to expand that range beyond where it previously used to exist. So you're not trying to push past it. I'm not trying to make a case for like just barrel through all your limitations, but stay there. Learn to breathe in that place of discomfort. And from that place, the more acquainted you can get with it, the more intimate you can become with that perceived limitation. The more you can understand that that's part of your journey, that's part of your experience. It's not something that needs to be fought, nor pushed away, nor run from either. And through doing that, your flexibility grows, your muscles extend, you learn to calm your nervous system, you learn to reconcile with fears that could be coming up around what it is to take that posture, what kind of a, so you're working with things and you're becoming one with your process, really. This is true in flexibility, in working with the body. This is true in life. I'll give another really quick example. I recently drove my van back, my newly acquired van. I drove it back from Washington State across the weekend. And for those of you who've been following my journey on here, you'll know that I just learned to drive in summer. I'm like in my 30s and I just learned to drive, and I am not ashamed of that. And I had a lot of fear. I had resistance coming up in me saying, oh, you can't possibly drive a, 15, 18 foot. I don't know how big this van is. But I had internal resistance saying, you can't do this. I had messages from the outside saying, are you sure? Is that safe? I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe you need to go with someone. Maybe you need to wait for a better time. And I could have taken a reaction of just like backing off. I really could have. I didn't fully trust myself to drive however many hundreds of miles that is. But I really sat with it. I stayed in that place of questioning. I stayed in that place of the unknown, of the uncertainty, and breathed into it. I meditated on this decision. I really sat with it. And I asked the resistance, what are you here to teach me? What can I learn from what's showing up? And that greater acknowledgement, acceptance of it, the not trying to push it away, but the letting it be in my experience and just making myself available to what wanted to come through. What I was doing was just creating more spaciousness around that decision. And ultimately, when you do that, when you can find that limit, see it for what it is, name it, honor it, know that it's there for a reason, and then still like take that wider perspective, be in relationship to it, allow yourself to be worked by the resistance, allow it to come into your system and work you. Taking that wider perspective will really allow one to make a better choice, find a better course of action, and know when is the time I'm going to go through that limit. I'm going to push through that. I was afraid when I drove out away from my friend's driveway up in Spokane, Washington. I felt the fear. I totally felt it. But because I had done that work around the resistance and I really trusted the ultimate decision that I made, I was just flooded with excitement, with joy, that I was actually liberating myself, that I was giving myself full permission to move through something which previously had been a limitation for me. Like I literally could not drive like this time last year. So this is true in flexibility, this is true with driving a van, and this is true in life. So my invitation to you watching this is, where are the challenges coming up in your life? What is the nature of the resistance that you're feeling? Be intimate with what is coming up. That could be coming up internally, that could be something in your sphere that you're navigating. Listen to it, be with it, honor it, accept it, be in relationship to it. Know that you have the full capacity to listen for the wisdom in what is being communicated to you through it. And then empower yourself to take a look from all sides. Go around it. Look for the other perspectives, and then come back to center. And then from there, see where you want to go. See what you want to change. See whether you really want to progress down that path that you're headed on. I really believe that that's one conscious way to be in relationship with our resistance, to breathe into that discomfort, to know that it's part of our experience and not separate from it. In life, there are so many challenges and perceived limits that will arise. And so the more consciously we can learn to be in relationship with it, learn to dance with it, be in flow with it, accept it as part of the experience, the more we can move really in the direction of our conscious choosing, rather than letting ourselves be owned by those fears, letting the challenges dictate what's possible for us. We can empower ourselves to consciously choose and become the people who we want to be. So that is what I wanted to share. I hope that helps. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions, or feel free to reach out directly to me, DM me. And yeah, I think that's all. Sending lots of love. Mwah.